Let's ditch flying and dive into a fun and memorable adventure across the North Sea. We're swapping cramped aeroplane seats for the luxurious Captain's Class cabin on Stena Line's Rail and Sail overnight ferry, promising to deliver us tomorrow morning to the colourful tulips and rickety windmills of the Netherlands. Join us for our highlights of this pretty unique way of getting from London to the Hook of Holland. You join us at a busy London-Liverpool Street station as we make our way to catch the Dutch Flyer Rail and Sail to Harwich International. Pitched as a seamless way to get from London to Holland, let's find out just how good this service is. It's certainly not something we've tried before. Our tickets allow us to travel from any Greater Anglia railway station to Harwich International and transfer to the overnight ferry. A QR code on your booking means you can scan through to the platform at the station. No additional ticket needs to be purchased. The journey from Liverpool Street takes 1 hour and 40 minutes on a direct service, although depending on the time of day, others require a change. We booked on the Stena website, so you can find out all the details here. We'll share the costs of our trip at the end. We departed on time, and compared to many trains on the UK network, this was a pretty modern carriage with toilets, something that's appreciated on longer journeys. We took this trip over the Easter weekend break, with the hope that the tulip season would be in full swing and we could see them in all their glory when we arrived in Holland. You never can tell when they're going to flower, so it was a bit of a gamble. Did it pay off? You'll have to watch the future episodes to find out. As darkness fell and the melodic sound of the tracks had us almost falling asleep, we approached Harwich International and our huge Stena ferry came into view. The first thing that impressed us at the port was just how quick and easy it was to disembark the train and walk into the waiting area for boarding. It was just a few minutes from the station platform. Boarding starts at around 8:30 p.m. for the 11 o'clock overnight service. We'll arrive in Holland at 8 a.m. You can also do this trip in the daytime with a sailing at 9 a.m. and you'll arrive at 5:30 p.m. You go through security just like at the airport and a quick passport check before they allow you on the gangway to board. We've only had a cabin on the QE2 floating hotel in Dubai before, and knowing how hard that liner was to navigate, we thought it might be a bit of a mission. However, the friendly crew and pretty easy to understand signage meant it wasn't long before we found our Captain's Class 2-berth cabin, one of only 4 of this type. So book early if you want to grab one. There are several cheaper cabin options, but if you do sail overnight, a cabin is compulsory. Sitting on the standard seating is only for day crossings. We'll see more of the facilities on board later. First, let us show you the cabin, once we work out how the lights work. There you go. A modern lounge area with comfy seating leads on to the bedroom with 2 huge portholes overlooking the bow of the ship. A full-size double bed with excellent quality bedding and separate duvets encourage a good night's sleep. The ensuite bathroom with shower meant no sharing at the end of corridors. Towels and toiletries were provided. We were impressed with the amount of space we had, and even more so to find the minibar stocked full of goodies, all included in the ticket price: wines, beers and snacks. Tea and coffee making facilities and a large TV gave us everything a quality hotel would provide. When it comes to eating and drinking on board, there are plenty of options on Deck 9, with 2 restaurants, 3 bars and a coffee bar, although we only had a drink. Prices will be in euros even when in a UK port. A beer was around €7 a pint, any soft drink like Coke was €4, which seemed a bit high. As an example, fish and chips were €13.50 for a decent portion. We filmed this just after boarding, so the ferry looks pretty empty. It did fill up closer to departure. A duty-free shop was available but closed at the time of filming. They open after departure and close 1 hour before arrival at the destination. There is a cinema on board as well as a lounge area showing sports and the latest golf in this case. Out on the sun deck, or moon deck as it was for us, you can take in some of that salty sea air and choke on the diesel fumes as the trucks, cars and cargo are added for the crossing. From our room we watched the last of the lorries make it aboard before the ropes were thrown back and we quietly reversed out of the dock, heading for Holland some 30 minutes late. As we passed out of the port of Harwich, there was no motion at all. You could hardly believe you were on a ship. Would we be able to maintain that feeling when we hit the high seas? With that, it was time to use our cabin as intended for a good night's sleep.
It's now 7 o'clock local time. We will be docking in Hook of Holland in around about 1 hour. Freight drivers are requested to make their way to the Truckers Restaurant, where breakfast awaits you. All other passengers can go to the Taste Restaurant, where breakfast is being served.
The announcement that we had an hour to go was a bit of a rude awakening in the morning. It was just after 7 AM, meaning we would arrive at the Hook of Holland on schedule. The sleep was incredible and comparable with any hotel room. I guess our only gripe was that even though we were in the most expensive cabin, breakfast was not included. It could be pre-booked for an additional fee. That brings me to the price of our one-way trip. The rail and sail offer was £90 for 2 people, and then the cabin is added on top. We paid £142 for the night. With a few other nominal fees, our total was £247, which we didn't think was bad value for money as it included our overnight accommodation. Of course, you can do this trip in cheaper cabins, or from just £90 for 2 people on the day service with no cabin. You are required to leave your cabin as the ferry docks and wait on deck 9 until doors open. This does take about 30 minutes to sort out, so we didn't start moving until around 8:30. Leaving the Stena Line ship, we disembarked straight into the ferry terminal, just as convenient as at Harwich. Onward travel by train to anywhere in the Netherlands used to be included in this ticket, but that seems to have stopped now. So you will need to buy your own train ticket at a machine to ride the metro into Rotterdam for connections across the Netherlands. The metro runs every 20 minutes and you need a credit card to buy a ticket. Cash is not accepted. One ticket was €4.50. The ride takes about 25 minutes to Schiedam Centrum, where you can connect to anywhere in the Netherlands. Amsterdam, for example, is an hour and 30 minutes from here. We continued on to central Rotterdam. Next time, we enjoy an explosion of colour at the world-famous Keukenhof Park, where the 79 acres are transformed each spring into a kaleidoscope of vibrant tulips and other flowers. We'll also enjoy the country's cycling culture by pedalling around Kinderdijk, the incredible waterways and windmills on the outskirts of Rotterdam. Subscribe now so you don't miss the next episode of our Holland trip. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.